Good morning, everyone. Oh shit, is it my affiliate anniversary? That's cool. I didn't know that. If I sound a little weird today, it's because I'm recovering from a respiratory infection. I got a little sick about a couple weeks ago, and then there's a bunch of forest fires in Southern California, so my throat is not doing super great today. Like, I'm not sick, but I just can't be loud. Um, so I've got some tea, got some yummy tea.
Testing, testing.
Hello, Riley. You sound great.
Yeah.
Chat, how does Riley sound? Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Riley. Thank you for joining us. La 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 la.
Sorry I'm a little late.
You're okay. You're okay. Chat says to say more things.
Say more things, more things, more things, more things.
Okay, okay. How's the volume, everyone? I'm gonna turn you down just a hair, and then that should be perfect. Okay. Okay.
Yay.
Yay!
Okay. Yay.
Yay! Bit louder than CT. Yeah, I'm gonna turn Riley down just a little bit. There we go. All right, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit, let people filter in, let people wake up. Yeah, you have anything yummy for breakfast today?
I had a bowl of cereal.
Oh fuck yes, I had some toast with hummus.
Okay. We've discussed this guy before, but you know JJ Hurtak, the Keys of Enoch guy?
Yes, yes.
Everything he has is just kind of like word salad, the crystal light matrix of the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh the other day was $1 book day at a local bookstore,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the concordance to the Book of Knowledge of the Keys of Enoch.
Oh holy shit! The concordance
Volume
dropped.
1 A through L, by the way. There's more volumes.
Holy shit!
Um, and it's more nonsense, but they have like page numbers and citations for it all.
Wow. I
Um,
love it. That's rare. That type of like the divine crystal spiraling matrix type guys don't usually have citation heavy books.
oh, he's citing only his book.
Oh, he's citing himself? Oh,
It's
that's
a
next level.
concordance.
That is next level. I love that.
Yeah. Um, so it's really just kind of circular,
Mm-hmm.
but oh my god. I don't know if you've seen the art where he's got like Jesus and UFOs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The there's that map over the United States that says the areas of Nephites to be activated, shit like that. Very
Yes!
funny.
Yes! You have to fucking activate the Nephites. I love that shit. So what then?
I
What happens after the Nephites are
New Agers
activated?
are the best.
They are.
He
They're
was like a
awesome.
NASA guy, and then he broke his fucking brain.
Hmm. You know, I've been thinking about this. Like, I've been recently
Or he had an
watching.
awakening.
I've been recently watching the anime Don Don. Are you familiar?
There's a lady there. She got like boobs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an elderly boob woman, but it's the main character is like a dweeby occultist, and his
Just like
psych
me for real.
and his psychic girlfriend, and it is much like Twin Peaks in that it correctly acknowledges UFOs and animist spirits as the exact same thing.
Yes. Passport to Magonia type shit.
Yes, yes. I apparently it's actually my affiliate anniversary this stream. I wish I was better at remembering dates for stuff like that because I wanted to read the Dolce papers. I really want to do that at some point on this stream.
Doing some like UFO high strange streams could be good. Like you get into fucking Whitley Strieber or Charles Fort.
God, we have to talk
My,
about Whitley Strieber, the Dolce and Gabbana papers. True. Um,
my friend's dad, her dad is this big like Fortean guy, and
mm-hmm.
so he's always like giving her like Fortean Times anthologies and shit about frogs raining down from the sky.
That's dope. God, we really like Whitley Strieber is one of those authors that like modern occultists don't understand how influential he is. Like he really is one of the
Or they understand him and literally are like doing fucking spiritual seances with his aliens.
right.
Because that's like a new, especially since that Hellier show came out,
Hmm.
and then all the Typhonian people are like, oh yeah, we can do alien sex magic with Mothman.
Which is
And then they
very
did.
appealing to the current moment, I think.
Mothman, there's no need to feel down. It really
Mothman,
is.
moth me a man.
Thank you. Man me a stand.
But it's like once I'm glad that Americans are slowly realizing that Mothman is a yokai. Like,
I I didn't know this. Can you inform me why this is the case? I know nothing about yokai.
oh, yokai are basically like it's a class in Japanese culture. It's a classification that basically just means animus spirits. Many Southeast Asian countries have them. Like China also has them, although I think they're called something different in Chinese. But it just means like animus spirit broadly, and it's like a classification that includes like mythical creatures, but also like folk stories about like the ghost of a grandma that lives in the woods. Like, okay, you know how like diamonds,
It's
like
just
daimone.
everything in like Mushichi then, right?
Yes, yeah, everything in Mushishi, but it's all like okay, you know how daimones worked in ancient Greece? It's literally that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, they're kind
diamonds.
yeah, it's like they're kind of monsters, they're kind of ghosts, they're kind of spirits of places. Like it's all those things together.
Daimon like can also refer to gods. Is that also the case with
Yes,
yokai, or are
that's
they like
also true of
clearly
yokai.
delineated? Okay.
Oh, hang on, my cat wants to be let in.
And Pussy too.
Miss Mackie, hi. I'm gonna pick you up because you're cute. I'm gonna pick you up because you're cute. Yes. Miss Mackie on my lap. Okay. I'm pussy too. All right. Hello, everyone. So, okay, so as I've been writing this accessible history of the occult for the last like 7 years of my stupid little life, I've been intentionally avoiding previous histories of the occult because I didn't want like it's especially early in the research it's so easy to just be like, oh, I'll just do this but better. Like I really
The
wanted to dedicate.
anxiety of influence.
Yes, well, it's also like it's a great way to shortcut doing your own research, right? I wanted to research everything myself from scratch as much as possible.
Now you know everything.
I know so much, dog. It's crazy how much I don't know. Like I
It,
actually feel intellectually prepared to now I want to go through a bunch of other people that have done like histories of the occult, and I feel like I can effectively critique them now. So if you're in the Discord, in the book club channel, I have posted a link to the text that we're going to be reading today. It is William Godwin's Lives of the Necromancers, provided so kindly
Yay.
by our guest here. It's free. You can get a link if you want to read along with us. We're not going to be. I really don't think we're going to be reading this just in order, cover to cover. I want to explore this because Riley was sending me like snippets of it last night, and it seems fascinating. It seems very
It was
interesting.
written in like what 1836.
Yeah. So pre Blavatsky, this is like the second great revival America. This is the new
No,
thought.
he's a British. He's
Oh,
British.
he's British. Okay, okay.
He's Mary Shelley's father. he was married to Mary Wollstonecraft, one of the early like Western feminists who wrote like
Yeah,
Vindication of the
yeah.
Rights of Woman, a bunch of other stuff. They were actually the first people, at least in the English language, to do the hyphenated name thing.
Oh,
So they
interesting.
got married and then becomes Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, so their daughter was married. They like to hang out with like fucking a bunch of really cool people. I think William Blake was like tangentially related to their circle
That makes sense.
when they were younger.
So tell us about his
And
book. Tell us about his
then
book.
their daughter invented sci-fi.
Yep.
So he's widely regarded as like the father of Western anarchism, but he also wrote a fucking history of occultism called The Lives of Necromancers. Um, and I think it's just a really interesting window. He's more of like a rationalist guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he seems to have like a real soft spot for weirdos like Agrippa and John Dee, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he starts his history all the way back at like you know the ancient Persians and Greeks and Romans, and gradually works his way up
Yeah, yeah.
into the contemporary period for his
It's
day.
it seems like Lives of the Necromancers. It like the subheader is an account of the most eminent persons in successive ages who have claimed for themselves or to whom have been imputed by others the exercise of magical powers. So it's a history of people who call themselves or have been called magicians, which I think is a very interesting approach.
Oh yeah, one of the entries is Oliver Cromwell
Yeah, yeah.
because people like called him necromancer, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Allow me to use my inhaler really quick.
Yeah, yeah. I will also be sipping tea regularly. Our fucking sick and fragile little bodies having to inject drugs to continue continue
I really should
podcasting.
not be smoking with asthmatic as I
You
am,
really
but
shouldn't.
it feels good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true actually. Mm. So
It looks really cool.
it does. It looks quite cool.
Can
Unfortunately, it
we
looks
start
quite cool.
saying that using an inhaler looks cool so that
They should make inhalers that look like long cigarettes or something.
oh yeah, I want a Hunter S. Thompson style inhaler.
Yeah, yeah. That would actually be badass.
I mean, it is just stimulants to your inhaler.
Mm-hmm. Hello, ma'am. Hi. Mama's working right now. Yeah, hi. You're very cute. Sorry, my cat is bapping me with her little paw because she wants attention. All right, where do we want to start with this?
You have favorite characters.
I do have favorite characters, but I'm very curious how he introduces. Oh, here, let me. So for those at home, I do have it on screen right now. I'm interested in how he prefaces this. Like, so why don't I want to start with the ambitious nature of man. Man is a creature of boundless ambition. It is probably our natural wants that first awaken us from that lethargy of indifference which may be supposed to be plunged previously to the impulse of any motive or the ascension of uneasiness. One of our earliest wants may be conceived by hunger, or the desire for food. From this simple beginning, the history of man in all its complex varieties may be regarded as proceeding. Man, in a state of society, more especially where there is an inequality of condition and rank, is very often the creature of leisure. He finds himself either from internal or external impulse a certain activity. He finds himself at one time engaged in the accomplishment of his obvious and immediate desires, and at the other in a state which these desires have for the present been fulfilled. He has no present occasion to repeat those extensions which led to their fulfillment. This is the period of contemplation. This is the state which most eminently distinguishes us from the brutes. Here it is that the history of man, in its exclusive sense, may be considered as taking its beginning. Okay, now my cat wants to be let out. Yes, very small. Okay. I was reading a little earlier, and where was it? It was in the preface where he was like, he's very interested in like that humanity is different from animals, and that the fact that we can think about stuff means that we can claim to do magic. I do like that he has a definition of terms. Hang on, that's interesting.
Oh,
Divination
hell yeah.
divination has been principally employed in inspecting the entrails of beasts offered to sacrifice. That's not true. Divination is a very broad term. It's most forms of divination are actually Chinese. It's like how most
No, but
animals are
like,
built.
what is the what's the term for like looking at guts and divining from that?
Haruspicy.
Okay,
Yeah, being a haruspex. From their appearance, drawing
haru
omens of the.
spicy. It's like neuro spicy.
Yup, haruspicy.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're good. What the divination by cup which Joseph practiced or pretended to practice, we do not perhaps exactly understand. We all of us know somewhat of the predictions to this day resorted to by maidservants and others. That's us. That's us. We're others. From the appearance of the sediment to be found at the bottom of a teacup. Predictions of a similar sort are formed of the unpremeditated way in which we get out of bed in the morning or put on our garments, from the personal things we shall encounter when we first leave our chamber and go forth in the air, or any other indifferent accidents of life. It's well written. Predictions of a
They're
similar sort are
people of letters.
yes.
This family.
Predictions of a similar sort are formed from the unpremeditated way in which we get out of bed. So it's like unconscious assumptions. That's kind of what he's pointing to here. Like he's saying that this is the mechanism of how like divination in general works.
When did Freud start to like theorize the unconscious? What period is
Oh,
Freud? I know it's the 1800s, but not.
it was like the
It's
late.
like after this.
Yeah, it was like the late 1800s. It was like 1880.
Every ancient tradition was invented 1848 to 1870, and every modern perversion is so ancient as to predate writing.
God, fucking true.
Getting that tattooed.
Augury has its foundation in observing the flights of birds, the sounds they utter, their motions, whether sluggish or animated, and the avidity of otherwise in which they appear to take their food. The College of Augurs was one of the most solemn institutions in ancient Rome. That is fascinating. I have literally never heard of that.
Wait, no, like you had to. Like augurs had to fucking like approve certain like political appointments and stuff. You had to go talk to the guys and like say
Yeah.
the birds flew correctly. You get to do this thing or whatever. You know.
I thought whenever
Have you seen HBO's Rome? They actually have a great scene where they've got to like pay off the augurs in order to give them a good reading.
That is fascinating. Piranesi does do this in Piranesi. I thought the augurs were more like I thought the Roman augurs was more like the state oracle system rather than I didn't know it was bird focused. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, augury is the bird divination, right?
Yes.
So they have like the fucking pigeon tower of birds that they release and then see how they fly and shit. Like,
which is also related to haruspicy because like May mentioned. Hi, May. May in chat mentions that like generals were required to have an augur with their legion, and that has like that form of haruspicy has a material basis because it's a great way to find water. Is you release birds or like you capture wild birds while you're on the march, and then you cut them open and look at their guts, and if they seem like hydrated and full of seeds, it means that there's like food nearby that your army might be able to eat. It was a huge thing for founding cities, like finding new places to settle.
That's space.
Mm-hmm.
Founding cities was a huge part of their like
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like the first thing they would do is build like a museum. Oh, this is the Greeks, but like they would build a museum, which is like a temple to the muses, and they would have the nine muses of like history and all that, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as a center of worship and learning.
Physiognomy is not so properly a prediction of future events as an attempt to explain the present and inherent qualities of a man. By unfolding his propensities, however, it virtually gave the world to understanding the sort of proceedings in which he was most likely to engage. The
This
story.
is like hunter eyes
Yes, yes, this is like Hunter
about
Eyes.
whether you hog or not.
Yes, yes. The story of Socrates and the physiognomist is sufficiently known. It is sufficiently known.
This is known.
This is known sufficiently. It could be better, but we can work with it. The physiognomist, having inspected the countenance of the philosopher, pronounced that he was given to impertinence, sensuality, and violent bursts of passion, all of which was so contrary to his character, as universally known, that his disciples derided the physiognomist as a vainglorious pretender. Socrates, however, presently put them to silence by declaring that he had an original propensity to all vices imputed to him, and had only conquered the propensity by dint of a severe and unremitted self-discipline. So he's taking the
He's like,
your birth
no,
chart as
guys,
your
I
starting
am a
stats.
pervert.
Yeah.
He has nailed me. I just happen to have overcome it through dialectical materialism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I gotta stop shit posting verbally.
No, it's funny. That's what you
Oh,
need to keep. You need to continue saying things like this because it's enjoyable and
okay.
funny.
See, this is the type of shit I say in front of people, and then I like get the look of all those girls with the red Solo cups. You know.
No, puts my hand on your shoulder. I understand.
Okay.
Okay, what else? What else do we have here? There's a big thing on Delphi. Desire to command and control future events. Okay. Commerce with the invisible world. It is an essential feature of different ages and countries to vary exceedingly in good or ill construction, the fame or dishonor which shall attend upon the same conduct or mode of behavior. What? Hang on. It is an essential feature of different ages and countries to vary exceedingly in the good or ill construction, the fame or dishonor which shall attend upon the same conduct or mode of behavior. So like different cultures consider different things good and bad. In Egypt throughout the East, especially in the periods of history, the supposed commerce with invisible powers was openly professed, which under other circumstances during the reign of different prejudices was afterwards carefully concealed. Ah, under the reign of different prejudices. I wonder which prejudices he's discussing.
I think he just means religions, like the
Yeah.
various periods of religion.
Mm-hmm. And barbarously.
And like he might even be referring specifically to shit like Akhenaten, which like
Yeah.
what period did they crack the Rosetta Stone in? Like is 36
it was
too
like
early?
I thought it was like 1844.
Okay,
It happened
they would
right in
only
the
have had
middle of
access
Joseph Smith's
to, like,
life.
Greek sources on Egypt then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that cracking the Rosetta
Have we
Stone.
cracked Coptic yet, or is that like we had to crack Egyptian first to get Coptic?
Oh, I don't know. Hasn't the Coptic Church existed continuously since like the first century?
Every ancient tradition was invented 1848 to 1870. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had Coptic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, people kept. Yeah. It was never a lost language. Like the Coptic Church it's been the liturgical language of the Coptic Church for.
And we just didn't know that it was descended from Egyptian. Like,
well, I think from what I understand, Coptic is like it is descended from Egyptian, but there's a lot of Egyptian and Coptic.
Yeah, no, but like, I'm curious as to like whether people had an inkling that they were related to like ancient Egyptian,
Huh. I don't know. I know some Egyptologists. I should ask them.
Okay.
What exactly are we
It's,
reading?
it's interesting to get a timeline on stuff like this, just so you have like the dramatic irony, like
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
what the character you're reading doesn't.
Oh, we were both wrong. It's actually earlier. 1822 was the cracking of the Rosetta Stone.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so he does have access to some of this,
Right, right. Well, that
and so
also,
this is like cutting edge like revelations during
yeah,
this
yeah.
time.
I know it took like a solid 20 years to hit America because the news of the translation of the Rosetta Stone hit in the exact middle of Joseph Smith's life.
Oh God, it's so good.
It's so
It's
funny.
so funny. Every look, being I was raised in the funniest cult in the world. Um, Holy fuck, and it gave me a brainwashing kink and an interest in religious studies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I just for him to like claim to have discovered a language called Reformed Egyptian and translate it, and then also to like be given Egyptian papyri and claim to have translated them, and then like later for them to be revealed to just be like normal funerary scrolls. Uh, and he like wrote this whole fucking novel. Is the best thing ever. It's so funny.
It is. It's incredible. Like,
Also, someone once brought him some like copper plates that they had just carved like wingdings on
mm-hmm.
to like prank him, and they're like, Joseph, can you translate these? And then he wrote a whole fucking thing, and then they were like, I made those. They're not real. And Joseph was like, actually, they are real.
Actually,
And
yeah.
and then like the Mormon Church, like hundreds of years later, gets the plates tested so they can be like, see, we told you they were real, and they were not real. They were made in the 1800s, exactly when they
Exactly
were
like the guy said.
copper from his workshop. Like,
That's fucking awesome.
God, he's the funniest.
My favorite thing about Joseph Smith's life is like it's like if you admit that you're wrong one time, it all comes crashing down. So you have to double down every single time someone challenges
He's
you.
Donald Trump.
He
He's
is.
fucking Donald Trump.
Mm. Okay, okay. Barbarously hunted out of the pale or allowed unauthorized practice. The Magi of old, who claimed a power of producing miraculous appearances and boasted familiar intercourse with the world of spirits, were regarded by their own countrymen with particular reverence, and considered as the first and chieftest men in the state. That's pretty much true. Like the Persian Magi were, or it's like they were considered like statesmen. Yeah. For this mitigated
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. For this mitigated view of such dark and mysterious proceedings, the ancients were in great degree indebted to their polytheism. Hmm. That's actually good analysis. Like, the Romans are computed to have acknowledged 30,000 divinities, to all of whom was rendered a legitimate homage, and other countries in a similar proportion. See, I would also challenge that a little bit because, like, okay, the Romans believed that like singular gods would appear in multiple terms. Like, I guess you could get up to thirty
Oh
thousand
yeah.
by saying that like every
Well,
epithet of the major gods was also a different god. Which,
but
like,
that's
sure,
true. That's true. Like it's like when you get to India, like yes, these goddesses are the same, but like when you refer to them by different names, they appear and operate in a different capacity.
yes, yes,
So like and like there's like the incredibly local versions, and then there's some that like you only address in a specific ritual in a specific name or whatever. Like
mm-hmm.
it um I polytheism rules actually.
It's so especially henotheism, where it's like there's polytheism, but there's also one big god that's like it's like a big pleroma.
Shout out to Shaktism. It's the best type of henotheism for
Mm-hmm.
real.
Mm-hmm.
It's in current year.
Here, Riley, do you have the thing pulled up? Do you want to read a passage while I go get some more tea?
Um, I can have the thing pulled up. It was pulled up, but I started watching on your stream, so I didn't have to have both the browser and the stream open, and
Okay.
I was trying to find the
Oh, here, give us imps. Tell us about imps while I go get tea.
give you imps.
Yeah, yeah. Read the section on imps. It's on stream right now.
I'm gonna pull it up on my own
Okay,
phone.
okay.
These familiar spirits often assumed the form of animals, and a black dog or cat was considered as a figure in which the attendant devil was secretly hidden. These subordinate devils were called imps. Impure and carnal ideas were mingled with these theories. The witches were said to have preternatural teats from which their familiars sucked their blood. The devil also engaged in sexual intercourse with the witch or wizard, being denominated incubus if his favorite were a woman, and succubus if a man. In short, every frightful and loathsome idea was carefully heaped up together to render the unfortunate beings to whom the crime of witchcraft was imputed the horror and execration of their species. That's awesome. That's a great section. This is so like 1800s rationalist guy.
Hello, hello. Tell me about imps.
The witches suck. The witches lactate blood for the imps to eat,
Oh.
and then the devil fucks a wizard.
Yup, that's true. That happens. That happened to a
I
buddy of
mean,
mine.
milk and stuff is always kind of milk and blood, bodily fluids, really.
Mm-hmm.
Our precious bodily fluids, they're really important in magic. If you ever fuck with the like Greek magical papyri, you'll see that people are drinking blood and semen and rubbing poop in their eyes, and it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
terrible. It's really
It's very yucky. It's quite yucky.
it's yucky.
It's fucking
It's
yucky.
fucking nasty.
I remember
Uh
reading somewhere that they would make poultices out of like they would wring out gladiators like old sweaty clothes and then make poultices out of them and then sell the
oh
poultices.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, they would scrape off the sweat from wrestlers and then
Yes.
sell it as an aphrodisiac. They would take like a shell and like scrape the sand and sweat off of their bodies. Uh, well, They usually started oiled up because
Mm-hmm.
it's hot.
Right.
Oh my god! You ever watch those videos of the Turkish oil wrestling?
Yes.
Mm, you know, good
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly. It's like if that's how magic worked, it would be an aphrodisiac.
No, I look. It's like gamer girl bathwater,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Like WrestleMan sweat oil.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you loved that, anyway, whatever.
I understand. Okay, okay. Let's pick a guy now. Let's pick a person to read about.
I want to go with one of the ancient ones first.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say let's start
and
earlier.
then see how it.
Okay, okay. How about
You want to like
Pythagoras?
fuck with Zoroaster? Okay.
Oh.
Pythagoras, you can't go wrong with.
Yeah, yeah. Does he have? Where's the Zoroaster one?
Ooh, wait. Can we check out Tempter of Jupiter Ammon?
Yeah, yeah. Colon, it's oracles.
I like when Zeus has horns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Is this a big section? No, it's not. The D section is actually pretty wordy. But I'll read the Temple of Jupiter Ammon, its oracles.
Please continue.
All right. Let me start with a sip of water,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get going. Also, I hope you can't hear my roommates upstairs watching TV really loudly, but if you can, fuck you all.
We cannot. Don't you worry.
Temple of Jupiter Ammon, its oracles. Another of what may be considered as the wonders of Egypt is the Temple of Jupiter Ammon in the midst of the Great Desert. This temple was situated at a distance of no less than 12 days' journey from Memphis, the capital of Lower Egypt. The principal part of this space consisted of one immense tract of moving sand, so hot as to be intolerable to the sole of the foot, while the air was pregnant with fire, so that it was almost impossible to breathe in it. Not a drop of water, not a tree, not a blade of grass was to be found through this vast surface. It was here that Cambyses engaged in an impious expedition to demolish the temple, is said to have lost an army of 50,000 men buried in the sands. When you arrived, however, you were presented with a wood of great circumference, the foliage of which was so thick that the beams of the sun could not pierce it. Oh my god, they still do this in Ethiopia, by the way. They have like sacred forests or sacred groves around churches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and that's also like helped prevent desertification. But like the like forest or like grounds around a sacred site or temple was always like super important. And was where a lot of rituals would take place.
Mm-hmm.
Garden of Gethsemane was one of these.
Yep. It's a pardes, a ritual garden.
The atmosphere of the place was of a delicious temperature. The scene was everywhere interspersed with fountains, and all the fruits of the earth were found in the highest perfection. In the midst was the temple and oracle of the god, who was worshipped in the likeness of a ram. Egyptian priests chose this site as furnishing a test of the zeal of their votaries. The journey being like the pilgrimage to Jerusalem or Mecca, if not from so great a distance, yet attended, in many respects, with perils more formidable. It was not safe to attempt the passage but with moderate numbers, and those expressly equipped for expedition. Bacchus is said to have visited this spot in his great expedition to the east, when Jupiter appeared to him in the form of a ram, having struck his foot upon the soil, and for the first time occasioned that supply of water with which the place was ever after plentifully supplied. I love when uh, myths where like someone strikes the ground and a spring
Yes, and they're like
pops
it.
up, or like the fucking the maenads, like they scratch at the dirt and then like milk starts springing up out of the ground and
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's always something interesting going on there.
It's the Earth's bodily fluids,
Our precious bodily
or
fluids.
precious
Sometimes
bodily
I
fluids.
wonder if they like. Anyway, I'll just keep reading. Um, Alexander the Great in a subsequent age undertook the same journey with his army that he might cause himself to be acknowledged for the Son of God, under which character he was in all due form recognized. The priests, no doubt, had heard of the successful battles of the Granicus and of Issus, and of the capture of Tyre after a 7 months' siege, and of the march of the great conqueror in Egypt, where he carried everything before him. Here we are presented with a striking specimen of the mode and spirit in which the oracles of old were accustomed to be conducted. It may be said that the priests were corrupted by the rich presents which Alexander bestowed on them with a liberal hand. But this was not the prime impulse in the business. They were astonished at the daring with which Alexander, which fuck, they were astonished at the daring with which Alexander, with a comparative handful of men, set out from Greece, having meditated the overthrow of the great Persian Empire. They were accomplished. Fuck me. They were astonished with his perpetual success and his victorious progress from the Hellespont to Mount Taurus, from Mount Taurus to Pelusium, and from Pelusium quite across the ancient kingdom of Egypt to the Palus Mariotis. Accustomed to the practice of adulation and to the belief that mortal power and true intellectual greatness were the same, they, with a genuine enthusiastic fervor, regarded Alexander as the son of their god, and acknowledged him as such. Nothing can be more memorable than the way in which belief and unbelief hold a divided empire over the human mind, our passions hurrying us into belief, at the same time that our intervals of sobriety suggest to us that it is all pure imposition.
That's a great conclusion.
Yeah, no, he's got some bangers. Um, he was famous for debating the. Do you know Edmund Burke?
No. Tell me.
Okay, this is like a political nerd thing. He's like the father of British conservatism.
Hmm.
And Godwin had a series of debates with this guy.
Hmm. Interesting. I can see it. Like the things that he talks about here betray someone very good with words.
It was like Hobbes and Rousseau, but for Brits, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Godwin versus Burke.
Here, next, let's
Except
do.
Hobbes was British, wasn't he?
I think so.
I'm stupid.
It's okay. I don't actually know.
Kill me with rocks.
We're gonna kill
Um,
you. Okay.
Yay, yippee!
Yay! Yay! Yippee! Yay!
Oh, they speaking of like the wrestle sweat things, like there's like testimonies of fucking witches gathering gladiators like organs after the like contests where they're slaying or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and then
cool.
using them to make pharmaca.
Cool. Okay, my tea is ready. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm just gonna open a random. I have the PGM with me. CT. A formula to cause a woman to hate a man. Dot dot dot. You bring dung, hair and hair. Dot dot dot. Which is dead, and you mix them with fresh blooms. Question mark. I think the question marks and dot dot dots are just missing bits of the text. And you put it in a new papyrus after writing on the papyrus first with my ink, saying, "May name born of name hate name born of name." And you recite these other true names over it 7 times, and you bind the papyrus and you put it in the water of dot dot dot. Here are the true names: Yakombu Miai, Yao, Io, Erbeth, Io, Bulhoseth, Bas dot dot dot, Alm, uh, Gutathnax, Aspis, Ocelet. Separate name born of name from name born of name. Hurry, hurry, be quick, be quick. A formula for it, dot dot dot, of dot dot dot. Another manuscript says dot dot dot. You question mark write the true names on it with ink, dot dot dot, and you write at its bottom, dot dot dot, to me Anubis, saying, take the dot 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 of name born of name, dot dot dot. You should write on its bottom, dot dot dot.
Ooh,
Vex
are
name
you
born
reading
of name.
Lamelle?
I'm reading. No, I'm reading a Coptic magical formulary.
Oh, cool.
Vex
Hmm.
name born of name. Dot dot dot. Them to it again. You should dot 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 fire dot dot dot, and you should bind dot 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 of the hair of that woman with dot dot dot, and you should put a dot 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 a bitch dot dot dot. Rouse yourself from the boat dot dot dot. Uh, Theorisat dot dot dot. Encounters of each punishment dot dot dot.
Encounters of
Woman,
each
you write these
punishment.
words on a new papyrus with myrrh ink, and you put it in a dot 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 of a dot 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 built question mark, and you put it in a chest question mark. These question marks are like added by the editors because sometimes the writing is unclear. And you give it to an ibis. Here are the names: Alan, Albana Chambre, Amis, Ostie, Rathroer, Athroi, Thoane. Take the dot 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 of name born of name dot 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 in her heart. Um, this starts with saying that you put dung and the hair of these people into a papyrus
Mm.
after writing all this stuff on it.
And then you give it to an ibis.
Yeah.
I see. And what is this to accomplish? Does it make people like you or something? That's what a lot of these
No,
do.
it's a formula to cause a woman to hate a man. So if you
Oh,
want Stacy to break up with Chad, you take some of her hair
right.
and some poop and you put it in a note and then you give it to a bird.
And that does something. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Hmm.
The dot 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 shit is not important to like it's not intentional. This is just that the papyrus has degraded, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when there's a dot 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 in one of these, I just say it out loud so that like I could just say blank, but it sounds even weirder when I say blank.
Yes.
There are others that are like better preserved, but I flipped open to a random one while CT was getting tea. I could have read Lives of Necromancers, but this was in my lap because I'm a sicko.
That's good. That's good. Here, let's read Zoroaster. Oh, it's like
Fuck yeah, let's read
it's
Zoroaster.
one paragraph. I'll do this one.
Of course.
Among the Chaldeans, the most famous name is that of Zoroaster, who is held to have been the author of their religion, their civil policy, their sciences, and their magic. He taught the doctrine of two great principles, the one of the author of good, the other of evil. He prohibited the use of images in the ceremonies of religion, and pronounced that nothing deserved homage but fire and the sun, and the center and the source of fire, and that perhaps to be venerated not for themselves, but as emblematical of the principle of all good things. He taught astronomy and astrology. We may, with sufficient probability, infer his doctrines from those of the Magi, who were his followers. He practiced enchantments, by which he would send a panic among the forces that were brought to make war against him, rendering the conflict by force of arms unnecessary. Ooh. He prescribed the use of certain herbs as all powerful for the production of supernatural effects. He pretended to the faculty of working miracles and of superseding and altering the ordinary course of nature. There was, besides the Chaldean Zoroaster, a Persian known by the same name, who is said to have been a contemporary of Darius Histaspes. Histaspes? Interesting.
It's interesting that they're separating the two.
Yeah. Like, why?
So this is the Chaldean Zoroaster. Um, is that is that a real division?
I've never seen. I've never seen that before. I've never seen people. He spot. Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about. I've never seen someone like divide the Zoroasters before.
Because there's like Hecate and Chaldean Hecate.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so some of the Chaldean oracles are attributed to Zoroaster.
Oh, I see. I see. I thought it was maybe like he was dividing the historical person from via the mythological person or something, like how people kind of do
Um,
when they're studying Christ.
it
But that
uh,
makes more
it
sense.
could just be that like he thinks that these are different guys with the same name.
Right, right. Or that like or he's gesturing to the idea that the Chaldean or like the Chaldean oracles are pseudo Zoroaster texts. That's interesting. Okay, okay. Let's do anything catching your eye?
Sorry, I'm on the Wikipedia page for the Chaldean oracles again. Um, I'm sorry, Mom.
You're good. You're good.
Let's
Hair Gender in chat asks, why is it interesting? Well, it shows that Mr. Godwin here is like he's drawing a definitive line between like the historical prophet of Zoroastrianism, Zoroaster, and the supposed author of the Greek texts, the Chaldean oracles, who is probably not like the person that supposedly wrote the Chaldean oracles was probably like a Hellenized Persian, like just like a Persian guy living in Greece or whatever.
I don't
Um,
even think it was that. I think they were straight up Greek.
yeah, yeah, they might, or it
They're
also,
talking about like shit that only a Greek would enjoy, really.
yeah, yeah, they're also just like they could also just be being Orientalist and saying that
Like
like,
no, the Greeks love like being like, oh, this is actually from the East. Like they're doing the thing that like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn does. Like they're like, this is actually ancient Eastern wisdom, and it's Platonism. Like,
yeah, 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 Zhuangzi was a Neoplatonist.
I mean, that's actually true.
It is kind of true. It's well, okay. It's more like it's more like Plotinus.
No,
Like
Zhuangzi was a Heraclitean.
yes, yes. He was Heraclitean. He was a Heraclitean Neoplatonist.
His hairy clitoris. Oh, let's fuck with Democritus. How about?
Oh yeah, yeah. I wonder what he's got to say about Democritus.
All right, I'll
Hmm.
just start it. Democritus. The fame of Democritus has sustained a singular fortune. He is represented by Pliny as one of the most superstitious of mortals. This character is founded on certain books which appeared in his name. I love that he knows that there's pseudo Democritus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, in these books, he is made to say that if the blood of certain birds be mingled together, the combination will produce a serpent, of which whoever eats will become endowed with the gift of understanding the language of birds.
That's true. That happened to me.
Oh, which birds did you use? Because I can't get the recipe right.
Oh, you go to the
I just
store.
used
You
some
get some
birds.
chicken. You get some turkey. You get some duck.
Chicken, Coke. Sorry.
Exactly. I'm making a fucking Democritus potion to understand the language of the birds.
Um, he attributes a multitude of virtues to the limbs of a dead chameleon,
Hmm.
among others, that if left foot of this fuck me, if the left foot of this animal be grilled, and there be added certain herbs, and a particular unctuous preparation, it will have the quality to render the person who carries it about him invisible. But
Ooh.
all this is wholly irreconcilable with the known character of Democritus, who challenged himself by the hypotheses that the world was framed from the fortuitous concourse of atoms, and that the soul died with the body. And accordingly, Lucian, a more judicious author than Pliny, I fucking love Lucian, by the
Mm-hmm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
uh, expressly cites Democritus as a strenuous opposer of all the pretenders to miracles. Such juggling tricks, he says, call for a Democritus, an Epicurus, a Metrodorus, or someone of that temper, who should endeavor to detect the illusion, and would hold it for certain, even if he could not fully lay open the deceit that the whole was a lying pretense, and had not a spark of reality in it. Democritus was in reality one of the most disinterested characters on record in the pursuit of truth. He has been styled the father of experimental philosophy. When his father died and the estate came to be divided between him and two brothers, he chose the part which was in money, though the smallest, that he might indulge him, read himself, in traveling in pursuit of knowledge. He visited Egypt and Persia and turned aside into Ethiopia and India. He is reported to have said that he had rather be the professor of one of the cardinal secrets of nature than of the diadem of Persia.
He fucking went to India to learn magic knowledge.
Um, well, then he said that he would rather live science. Himori.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It
The
is.
Socrates section is pretty long.
Yeah, yeah. Let's jump around a little bit. Let's pick a more recent guy.
Ooh, okay.
Do you wanna do the I the stuff you were sending me from the D section was fascinating. Let's jump
We
ahead to
could okay,
D.
the D section is chunky, but it's worth reading
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
through.
Where is
Um,
D?
They also have a section on Faust.
Oh, and Cornelius Agrippa.
I do want to check Agrippa at some point, but I think
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
hit D.
Where is D?
He's nuts. I got it. Dr. D. Dr. John Dee was a man who made a conspicuous figure in the 16th century. He was born at London in the year 1527. He was an eminent mathematician and an indefatigable scholar. He says of himself that having been sent to Cambridge when he was 15, he persisted for several years in allowing himself only 4 hours for sleep in the 24, and two for food and refreshment,
That's true. D
and
did
that
say that.
he constantly occupied the remaining 18, the time for divine service only excepted, in study. At Cambridge, he superintended the exhibition of a Greek play of Aristophanes,
Mm-hmm.
among the machinery of which he introduced an artificial scarabaeus or beetle, which flew up to the palace of Jupiter with a man on his back and a basket of provisions. The ignorant and astonished spectators ascribed this feat of the arts to the magician. Fuck me. The ignorant and astonished spectators ascribed this feat to the arts of the magician, and D, annoyed by these suspicions, found it expedient to withdraw to the continent. He made a puppet, and they're like, "Oh fuck, this guy's a wizard."
So this is true. We know that D did do this. He did make a mechanical scarabaeus, or a mechanical scarab for production of Aristophanes' piece. However, this story comes from later in D's life when he was summoned to the Star Chamber during the deposition of Lady Jane Grey, and he was forced to defend himself against accusations of magic. And he said this story as like, well, here's why people think I'm a magician, because I made this and then I left to the continent. The real reason that he left to the continent is that his dad. His dad was basically like the tax collector to end all tax collectors. He was the Packer General of London, and it made his family a lot of political enemies. And the England's subsequent break from the church was really not a good time to be at the notoriously Catholic Cambridge University, which is why he went to Louvain on the continent.
This is so fucking. I love how often magicians are actually just spies.
Yes, yes.
Um, fuck. There's an alternate timeline in which John Dee is the Jim Henson of Europe.
That would be so cool if he just made automatons. Also,
Yeah,
real quick, chat. My OBS says that I need 5 more subscriptions until something happens. Do you know what something happens when I get 5 more subscriptions? I don't know what Twitch is saying is going to happen.
5 more subscriptions, and then the FBI kicks your door down and asks for all of your tomes.
My tomes. I like my tomes though. It's a self-set goal, I think. I didn't set anything. $10,000. Well, if 5 of you want to subscribe, so I get $10,000, that would be awesome.
$1 William.
$1 William. Okay, please. Here, I'll take the next paragraph. In 15.
I haven't finished this one yet, though.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Uh, he resided first at the University of Louvain, at which place his acquaintance was courted by the Dukes of Mantua and Medina,
Mm-hmm.
and from thence proceeded to Paris, where he gave lectures on Euclid with singular applause.
That is true. That's all true. He, yeah. He went to Louvain, and a bunch of French scholars really liked him. And okay, he gave lectures on Euclid, but this is because he was like, later in life he would tell stories like, when I lectured on Euclid at Paris, he's like, I was actually the first guy to lecture on Euclid at Paris, and the seats were packed, and it's like, one, he was definitely not the first guy at the University of Paris to lecture on Euclid. It's fucking Euclid. There's no way John Dee was the first guy. And the reason that the seats were packed is that if there were lectures on mathematics at the University of Paris, all students were required to attend.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They were at gunpoint.
Here, do you want to keep reading?
You asked to read this next paragraph.
Okay, I will do that. I will do so
In
that
my defense.
we can trade off. In
Yeah.
1551, he returned to England and was received with distinction by Sir John Check and introduced to Secretary Cecil, and even then to King Edward, who was a baby at the time, from whom he received a pension of 100 crowns per annum, which he speedily exchanged for a small living in the church. That's quite a lot of money, by the way. In the reign of Queen Mary, he was for some time kindly treated, but afterwards came into great trouble. Yup, and even into danger of his life. He entered into correspondence with several of the servants of Queen Elizabeth Woodstock and was charged with practicing against Mary's life by enchantments. This is because when he was a servant to Queen Elizabeth at Woodstock, when she was like in fancy prison, he would tell horoscopes for her as a little party trick. And so his
Yeah.
political enemies were like, he's doing fucking magic to kill Queen Mary. Oh, what the fuck? I'm getting a call.
Well, it was also like kind of
Hang on.
illegal to know like when like monarchs were the exact time at which monarchs were born.
Hello?
Uh, and like calculating was a crime. If you were calculating the like astrological chart of the sovereign, because that would allow you to fucking do magic specifically targeted at them or whatever, or to like foretell of their death, you know. um this is very unchristian.
Okay, hello. Sorry. My fucking
Hey, what's up? Hello.
HRT clinic is like, this is an automated message. Your appointment on June 6th needs to be rescheduled. I was like, okay, sorry. You can't just text me. Okay. Um,
But yeah, calculating was a crime. You couldn't like do the chart of the queen unless they asked you to or whatever.
mhm. Well, it was okay. Calculating was a crime, but it was also like very rarely punished. Like it was basically no one ever went to jail for telling horoscopes. It was a very
Well,
common
because you would
like
have to get an astrologer to be able to figure out what they were doing. Like,
yes, and at this time, astrology and astronomy weren't really all that different. Like they weren't separate yet, and a necessary thing for making maps. For like naval charts and stuff was astrology. Like if you wanted a guy who
he
could
was
make
he was
astral.
super important
Mhm.
for this reason.
Like
Actually, like John Dee's like maps were crazy important.
mhm. Upon this accusation, he was seized and confined, and after several examinations, discharged of the indictment, which was turned over to Bishop Bonner to see if any heresy could be found in him. He was like best friends with Bishop Bonner. Uh, After a tedious persecution, he was set at liberty in 1555 and was so little subsumed by what he had suffered that in the following year he presented a petition to the Queen requesting her cooperation in a plan for preserving and recovering certain monuments of classical antiquity. Yeah, he wanted to like travel Europe and like collect occult texts.
Like, oh god, that's I should be asking the government to help me do this.
Literally. The principal study of Dee, however, for this time lay in astrology, and accordingly, upon the accession of Elizabeth, Robert Dudley, her chief favorite, was sent to consult the doctor as to the aspects of the stars that they might fix on an auspicious day for celebrating her coronation. This is not true. Everyone repeats this claim. It is not true. Elizabeth's special council decided on the date for the coronation first, and then later they asked Dee to do the horoscope for the date to determine if it was like how it was going to go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Some years.
They're like, hey, this is the day. Can you tell us whether we're going to be struck by lightning?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tea break. Um, some years
T-Rans.
some years after, we find him again on the continent. Yeah, this is weird. From like 1550 to 1570, We have like no record of what he was doing. We have no idea what he was doing on the continent. He didn't keep a diary.
That's because he was actually part of the Illuminopoli.
Yep, yep, that's true. That's true. He was doing shit with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
He was in a submarine with Hagbard Chalene.
Doing Rosicrucian shit. He went to
Have you
America.
read Illuminatus?
I have not. You have recommended it to me
Oh my
several
god,
times.
this
I
is a
should.
U coded book. It's a fun one.
In 1571, being taken ill at Louvain, we are told the Queen sent over 2 physicians to accomplish his cure. Elizabeth afterwards visited him at his house in Mortlake that she might view his magazine of mathematical instruments and curiosities. That's true. She Queen Elizabeth clearly liked Dee, and Dee had all sorts of fun toys. And about all this time, employed him to
It was
defend her.
basically the Xbox, like the Astrolabe was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first Xbox 360.
Another big one for the time was mirrors. Like Dee was really into optics, which at the time was called perspectives.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So cute.
It is so cute. To defend her title countries discovered in different parts of the globe. He said of himself that he received a most advantageous offer from Charles V, Ferdinand, Maximilian II, and Rudolph II, the emperors of Germany, from the Tsar of Muscovy, and offers of 200 livres sterling per annum, upon the condition that he would reside in his dominions. This is not fucking true. He was just lying about this. He was like, yeah, I totally have an offer. I actually have an offer from Charles V. No, he fucking didn't. He was trying to upsell Queen Elizabeth. All of these circumstances
God.
were solemnly attested by Dee in a compendious rehearsal of his life and studies for half a century, composed at a later period, and read by him at his house at Mortlake to 2 commissioners appointed by Elizabeth to inquire into his circumstances and accompanied with evidences and documents to establish his particulars.
I
Had
love
Dee
how magicians just lie all the time.
he says so many things in his diaries that it's like Dee's special move as an occultist was like, oh, there's 2 sides of a political debate. It's like, should we be Protestant or Catholic? Well, based on my studies of ancient mathematics, I actually know how to reconcile them. Holy shit! Oh my god!
He was the first radical centrist.
He what?
He's
Oh my
he's
god!
literally enlightened centrist. Someone gifts some subs.
Yeah, someone gifted 5 subs. Holy shit! And thank you, Anonymous. Wowee! I really appreciate that. Thank you. Ugh. Anyway, enough of your
They just need to
generosity.
get
Back
5
to
DOMs
history.
because there's a shortage. I hear
Yes.
there's not a top shortage. Okay, there's a bottom epidemic.
Yes. There needs to be a bottom quell. A bottom culling.
Wait, introducing bottom myxomatosis.
Had Dee gone no further than this, he would undoubtedly have ranked among the profoundest scholars and most eminent geniuses that adorned the reign of the Maiden Queen. But he was unfortunately cursed with an ambition that nothing could satisfy, and, having accustomed his mind to the wildest reveries, had wrought himself up to an extravagant pitch of enthusiasm. He pursued a course that involved him in much calamity and clouded all his later days with misery and ruin. He dreamed perpetually of the Philosopher's Stone and was haunted with the belief of intercourse and of a supramundane
Just like me.
character. Yeah.
I've
He's just
dreamed
like me for
perpetually of the
real.
Philosopher's Stone, and I'm haunted by the dreams of intercourse. Sorry.
You're good. Of intercourse and of a supramundane character. It is almost impossible to decide amongst these things how much was illusion and how much was forgery. Okay, what he's referring to here is is his time with Edward Kelly talking to angels. That's what he's talking about here. And I have also thought about this period, like because it does kind of seem like he got back from the continent and asked Elizabeth for patronage. And then when he didn't get it, it seems like he kind of went crazy. And I think what happened is that it was kind of a slow disillusionment with court politics. Like around this time, he was just like, "Oh my god, fucking everything is stupid and complicated." And I think his time on the continent, because like, okay, this is Europe in like 1560. Shit's going bad. The Protestant Reformation is happening. The all the wars of religion are happening. Like Europe is like tearing itself in half, and I think he didn't really know how to deal with that.
He's
So
like, stop fighting.
stop fighting.
Stop fighting. Let me talk about fucking Paracelsus. Oh no, wait, Paracelsus was like alive at this time,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Paracelsus was like his contemporary. Um,
Galen, let's talk. Why can't we just talk blonde over
oh
Galen?
my god, let's talk about the Chaldean oracles.
We're all faggots in the eyes of the state.
We can't say that on Twitch.
Oh, we can't.
No, it's okay. Don't
I
worry.
can. I'm like, I'm taking this to the Supreme Court, and they're going to defend my right to say the F word.
You are gay. Guilty.
Or they're going to make it. The current Supreme Court is going to be like, only gay people can't say
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, so I think but also it's like, okay, if you're D and you believe that like there's a sort of astral changing of the guard. Oh, he was also upset at this point in his life, he got obsessed with Joachim of Fior.
it. Who's that? Please tell.
Oh, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're going to have so much fun with this guy. So, uh Joachim of Fior was a 13th or no, not he was like 13th or 14th century Spanish or no, I forget. I forget
Should we
where he
wiki
was.
him?
It's like Joachim is how his name is spelled.
I know. Look, I know how Joaquin is spelled.
Yeah, but it's like he might have been
I'm
Italian.
a, I'm
But he
I can
he
pronounce
was.
all of the Gnostic saints of Gnostic Mass perfectly, by the way.
You're so cool. Fucking.
But I still won't deacon because I'm lazy.
It seems like hard work, but Joachim of Fior was an
Italian.
he was an apocalyptic theologian. Like he believed that the world was divided into three ages: the age of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And uh,
Oh, it's like the aeon of the mother and the
yeah, it's
father and the
literally
child.
the Aeon of Horus, like like that type of shit. Like a new. He said that the age of the Father was the Old Testament era, and then when Christ was born, you enter the age of the Son, and eventually there's going to be like an apocalypse, and we're going to enter the age of the Holy Spirit in preparation for like the second coming. Uh,
Okay.
so
And it was supposed to happen in 1260s, the age of the Holy
it
Spirit. I
was,
guess we're in there now.
uh,
This is so Crowley coded.
it
And
is.
apparently he inspired Dante a lot, which
Absolutely. I think Joachim of Fior was like hugely influential on Crowley, honestly. Um, so one of Joachim's things was he believed that miraculously every infidel would convert to Christianity, and this is because he was living during the Reconquista, and he was like, one of these days, all the Muslims are just going to become Christian, and all the Jews too. And then once he believed that the age of the Holy Spirit will begin, like there'll be like a cataclysmic conversion to Christianity. Um, in the midst of religious strife. And John Dee believed that this type of shit was going to happen at any moment because also this is like England is having a rough go of it, but they're also kind of perfectly positioned to like as a mercantile naval power, they're kind of perfectly positioned to take advantage of the upcoming age of sail.
age
Basically,
of Aquarius.
yup. Um,
Sorry. Um, John Dee also had this like vision of a future in which everyone in the world was Christian and all used Enochian tablets to communicate with like the angels and God directly.
yes,
Like every home would have a an Enochian
like a table of
table
practice.
set.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And
Instead of a like imagine instead of televisions, we were all on the wax tablet. You know, like
right, right. No, he And this is because he was really into Joachim of Fior, and he was like, oh, fuck, what if the way to do this is like, what if the way to heal the Protestant Catholic divide is to just talk to the angels directly?
And a tin of who hash.
And a tin of who hash. Um, and so he was
Thank
like,
you, hair tender.
fuck, we have to. He was like, I need to find a psychic that can talk to angels right now.
Oh, and so he asks the least reputable man in Europe.
Yes. Who, okay, I think. Okay, we'll get to Edward Kelly.
I fucking love Kelly
He's
so much.
so cool. uh, uh,
I
uh,
have this reprint of the Ashmole Theatrum Chemicum Britannicum, which has some writings of Edward Kelly in it.
mhm.
Um,
What's
this shit
crazy
fucks
is that
so
he
hard.
started as
You ever go to you ever get stuff from Ouroboros Press? Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have. Oh God, you
Fuck.
got to get this though
The
specifically
thing I
because
love
it's a
about Kelly is
your
that he
shit.
started as a fake alchemist and then became a real alchemist.
This is how magicians work as well.
Absolutely it happened to me. It will happen to you.
In faking it, you actually make it, and you're like, oh fuck, like
And then you realize what the real shit is, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool.
yeah,
Okay.
it
Both were
it accidentally happens to you, and like the heavens open up, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And you're like, I gotta become more deluded.
there's
Like
literally a
I
there's literally a moment where that happens to D in his life. There's also a moment where that happens to Kelly, where he's like he was clearly doing like fake rituals, but D was partially the one building the rituals and was like D would be like, here, read this, and we'll use this to talk to an angel. And then they would like fast and sleep deprive themselves, like priming themselves for hallucinations. And then Kelly would be like, all right, time to scam this dipshit out of more money. And then I think they both hallucinated angels like together. And
oh
I think it
God,
scared the
when I
fuck
was a
out of
kid,
Kelly. And he was like, what the fuck was that?
when I was a kid in the Mormon church, I was PMO, physically in but mentally out. Like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't believe this shit, but I still had to participate in all of that. And I would go to these Mormon youth camps where I'm like, oh, I hate all of this. I don't believe in it. Like Joseph Smith was a bad person. Like, and still by the end of it, all the sleep deprivation and singing and like heart to hearts and team building activities. By the end of it, you're like tearing up at hymns that you fucking despise and you can't stand.
Right,
But it
right.
still works. Brainwashing still works regardless of whether you think it will or not. And you are not immune to propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are not immune to ecstatic ritual.
Okay.
You're not immune to tunnel singing.
Yup. As D was an enthusiast, so he perpetually interposed his meditations prayers of the greatest emphasis and fervor. As he was one day in November of 1582 engaged in these devout exercises, he said that there appeared to him the angel Uriel at the west window of his museum.
This is always happening to me, except he's in the north because of Golden Dawn reasons.
Mm-hmm. Who gave him a translucent stone or crystal or convex form that had the quality, when intently surveyed, of presenting apparitions and even emitting sounds, in consequence of which the observer could hold conversations, ask questions, and receive answers from figures he saw in the mirror. It was often necessary that the stone should be turned one way and another in different positions before the person who consulted it and gained the right focus, and then the objects observed would sometimes show themselves in the surface of the stone and sometimes in different parts of the room by virtue of the action of the stone. So what he's talking about here is, do you know about his Aztec mirror?
Well, there were multiple different things D used to
Yes.
scry, but I do know that D did have an Aztec mirror, like literally stolen
Yeah, like literally.
Aztec mirror.
Yeah, literally. John D owned an Aztec mirror, like manufactured in Tenochtitlan. Fucking hell. Te-
Tenochtitlan.
yeah, Tenochtitlan.
Tenochtitlan, like the Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. It also had this peculiarity that one person, having been named as seer, could see the figures exhibited and hear the voices that spoke, though there might be various persons in the room. It appears that the person who discerned these visions must have his eyes and ears interruptedly engaged in the affair, so that Dee experienced to render the communication effectual, there must be two human beings concerned in the scene, one of them to describe what he saw and to recite the dialogue that took place, and the other immediately to commit to paper all that his partner had been dictated, hence Dee and Kelly. Dee, for some reason, chose himself part of the amanuensis and had to seek for a companion who was to watch for the stone and to repeat to him whatever he saw and heard. Okay, this is getting the timeline fucked up a little bit. He discovered the stone after he met Edward Kelly. Okay, this was the rhythm that they
Yeah.
fell into as they were doing the rituals.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of scholarship on D. This is probably like
Mm-hmm.
the peak at the time.
Although this is showing a pretty good like understanding of his life so far. Like the mistakes
Like
that he's
Godwin, yeah. It's like he's errors seem to come from his sources that are available to him rather than like himself.
yeah. It's like from what was available on D at the time. This is a very solid history.
Yeah, this is like better than a lot of shit that we get in the 20th century.
Yes. Oh my God. I read like recently for a secret project. I read like 5 biographies of D, and they all suck in different ways. Like the one that had the best actual scholarship was almost unreadably boring. Like it
Hmm.
was just it was a painful slog to read, and all the ones that are fun to read are don't have good scholarship.
Yeah.
It happened, opportunely, that a short time before Deve received this gift from on high, he contacted a familiar intercourse with one Edward Kelly of Worcestershire, whom he found specially qualified for the part which it was necessary for Dee to have adequately filled. Kelly was an extraordinary character, and in some respects, such a person as Dee wanted. He was 28 years younger than the memorable personage who now received him uh, as an inmate,
No, inmate.
and was
Weird.
engaged in his services at a stipulated salary of £50 a year. Yeah, he was paying Kelly quite a bit of money.
I'll
Kelly
keep going.
Kelly entered life upon
Oh,
Kelly entered upon life with a somewhat unfortunate adventure. He was accused, when a young man, of forgery, brought to trial, convicted, and lost his ears in a pillory. This misfortune, however, by no means daunted him. He was assiduously engaged in the search for the Philosopher's Stone. He had an active mind, great enterprise, and a very domineering temper. That is true. He threatened to kill one of Maximilian II's like courtiers during a bar fight.
he was just that guy.
Yeah, he
God, imagine like a fucking like an HBO AMC dramedy about these two. Like this would fuck so hard, I
their
think.
adventures on the continent are it's
Like
literally peak cinema. Yeah.
Breaking Bad with like Dee and Kelly would be the best thing
It
ever.
would be incredible. No, like they're I remember reading the accounts of when they were interrogated by a papal nuncio, and it's fucking hilarious. It's actually hilarious.
Like fucking Bob Odenkirk as Edward Kelly.
Yes. Oh my god. Another adventure in which he had been engaged previously to his knowledge of Dee was in digging up the body of a man who had been buried only the day before, that he might compel him by incantations to answer questions and discover future events. There was a difference. Another to his knowledge of Dee. Okay. There was this difference before the two persons previously to their league. Dee was a man of regular manners and unspotted life, honored to the great, favorably noticed by crowned heads in different parts of the world, while Kelly was a notorious profligate, accustomed to the most licentious actions, under no restraint of morals or principle. Yeah,
God, he gets them so well. He
that's
understands.
that is true. Notorious profligate, accustomed to the most licentious actions and under no restraint from morals or principle.
This is like he has such a way with words.
Mm-hmm.
I really like God. Like I've read some of his political writing, but I never like dove into this. I just knew it existed.
Yeah, yeah. There's
But
little.
it also like you can see the like why Mary Shelley talks like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, this is yeah. Notorious Profligate is a great rap name. You're right.
Under no restraint from morals or
Or principle.
principle.
Like that. That's a. There's these little hints of musicality to this that I really enjoy.
One
One.
circumstance that occurred early in the acquaintance of Kelly and Dee it is necessary to mention. It serves strikingly to illustrate the ascendancy of the junior and impetuous party over his more gifted senior. Kelly led Dee, we are not told under what pretense, to visit the celebrated ruins of Glastonbury Abbey in Somersetshire. Here, as these curious travelers searched into every corner of the scene, they met by some rare accident with a vase containing a certain portion of the actual elixir vitae, that rare and precious liquid so much sought after, which has the virtue of converting the baser metals into gold and silver. It had remained here, perhaps, ever since the time of the highly gifted St. Dunstan in the 10th century. This they carried off in triumph, but we are not told of any special use to which they applied it till a few years later when they were both on the continent.
So he
The
Kelly clearly planted it.
Yeah,
It's
Kelly was known for just like turning up with mysterious substances that like are have like immaculate qualities, but he can't tell you where he got it or replicate it or make like a fresh batch. Like he's clearly some sort of middleman for weird chemistry shit.
mm-hmm. Here, let me go get some more tea
He
real
is a
quick.
connect. More like CT, am I right? Are we human or are we Mancer? No, literally, like Kelly got famous for showing up with a mysterious red powder that all the alchemists were fucking like astonished by, but he could not reproduce, and he was not telling you where he got it from. He was known for showing up with mysterious substances. It's like someone's like, "Where'd you get the blue crystal in Breaking Bad?" You know, like this is why I'm saying like a Vince Gilligan like Dee and Kelly show would fuck so hard. Chemistry can also be a little like that. That's true. Ceramics is like this. Introducing the powder you can fuck. So many bits of the Greek magical papyri are just like different fuck drugs that make her fuck with you. That like how to make a how to make a woman fall for you, and you make some sort of weird poultice of hallucinogens and uh,
Bonjour.
bodily fluids and stuff.
Hello, I'm
Hi,
back.
sorry, I just started talking about filtrons again or whatever.
That's
Filtra.
yeah, yeah. That's cool. Here, keep reading.
We're talking about Kelly's powder.
Kelly's miraculous powder. Edward Kelly's miraculous powder.
Powder that makes you Edward Kelly. Um, the first record of their consultations with the supermundane spirits was of the date of December 2nd, 1581, at Lexden Heath in the county of Essex, and from this they went on in a regular series of consultations with and inquiries from these miraculous visitors, a great part of which will appear in will appear to the uninitiated extremely puerile and ludicrous, but which were committed to writing with the most scrupulous exactness by Dee, the first part still existing in manuscript, but the greater portion from the 28th of May 1583 to 1608, with some interruptions, having been committed to the press by Dr. Merrick Casaubon in a well-sized folio in 1659 under the title A True and Faithful Relation of What Passed Between Dr. D and Some Spirits Tending, had it succeeded to a general alteration of most states and kingdoms of the world. I mean, it succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have iPhone now. We're all staring at black mirrors.
Yup.
Um, Callie and Dee had not long been engaged in these supernatural colloquies?
Colloquies? Colloquies? Yeah, I think
Colloquies?
it's colloquies.
Before an event occurred which gave an entirely new turn to their proceedings. Albert Alaski, a Polish nobleman, Lord Palatine of the Principality of Silesia, came over at this time to England. He's just a mark for them.
Mm-hmm.
Urged, as he said, by a desire personally to acquaint himself with the glories of the reign of Elizabeth and the evidences of her unrivaled talents.
Okay, he did this
The,
because Albrecht Lasky was fucking broke, and he had tried to lay claim to the throne of Poland and had been rejected.
he's one of the funniest guys ever. I love that they just kind of like find a random nobleman to bully. Like,
He also Albrecht Lasky purportedly had a really long beard that he tucked into his belt, and he dressed like a Chaucer character. Like in
oh, fucking yeah, this like rich gnome that
yeah,
they
he literally he
export
dressed like
for
a
money.
Chaucer gnome. Like he wore like this is like the 1500s, right? He wore like 10th century checkered tights and shit. Like it's so funny.
I love Lasky so much.
He's
He's
so
one of
much
the
fun.
funniest like side characters in the whole deal.
And Kelly
Um,
Kelly could smell this guy downwind from like across the English Channel. He's like, I smell a
was he
mark.
stinky? Oh
No,
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 you
he's
just mean that yeah, Kelly like was like, oh, here's someone I can like pilfer from. Like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, like I think D was that to some extent for him for sure.
Yeah, okay, my
Um,
theory is that I think he started off with D as a mark and then the two of them became actual friends.
yeah, like he was endeared to this guy he was extorting and realized he had no money because he was in book debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in hella book debt, dog.
Like, yeah, he had like the biggest library in Europe, and it cost him absolutely everything, and he couldn't stop buying books. He's literally me.
Kip and Marin. They are kind of the inspiration for Kip and Marin.
Oh, what are those?
Characters from a thing I wrote.
Okay.
That is a
Um,
deep cut. God damn.
the Queen and her favorite, the Earl of Leicester, received him with every mark of courtesy and attention, and having shown him all the wonders of her court at Westminster and Greenwich, sent him to Oxford, with a command to the dignitaries and heads of colleges to pay him every attention and to lay open to his view all their rarest curiosities. So they're just like he's like a Reza like Pahlavi type character. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're hoping that they can actually get him to like take the throne or whatever. Like they're hoping he can be like a useful
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. They're like, maybe if we invest in this guy, something might happen that will end up with him
yeah.
on the throne
We
of
could start a
Poland.
civil war in Poland
Mm-hmm.
and W Protestantism, I guess. Like
Yeah, I looked it up. He was like eighth in line. He had no chance.
there's not a fucking shot, dog. Um, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Among other things worthy of notice, Alaski inquired for the celebrated Dr. D and expressed the greatest impatience to be acquainted with him. Just at this juncture, the Earl of Leicester happened to spy Dr. D among the crowd who attended a royal levee. The Earl immediately advanced towards him, and, in his frank manner, having introduced him to Alaski, expressed his intention of bringing the Pole to dine with the doctor at his house at Mortlake. Embarrassed with this unexpected honor, Dee no sooner got home than he dispatched an express to the Earl,
honestly confessing that he should be unable to entertain such guests in a suitable manner without being reduced to the expedient of selling or pawning his plate to procure him the means of doing so. Leicester communicated the doctor's perplexity to Elizabeth, and the Queen immediately dispatched a messenger with a present of 40 angels, or £20, to enable him to receive his guests as became him.
And
I was very confused. So 40 angels is £20?
I don't know. I've
Th-
never heard that before.
Okay. That's crazy. I've never heard angels be a unit of currency, but now I'm like, damn, John Dee was a billionaire.
angels
Um,
angels are expensive as fuck, bro.
a great intimacy immediately commenced. Fuck me. A great intimacy immediately commenced between Dee and the stranger. Alaski, though possessing an extensive territory, was reduced by the prodigality of himself or his ancestors to much embarrassment. And, on the other hand, this nobleman appeared to Dee an instrument well qualified to accomplish his ambitious purposes. Alaski was extremely desirous to look into the womb of time,
Ooh.
and Dee, it is likely, suggested repeated hints of his extraordinary power from his possession of the Philosopher's Stone. After 2 or 3 interviews, and much seeming importunity on the part of the Pole, Dee and Kelly graciously condescended to admit Alaski as a third party to their secret meetings with their supernatural visitors, from which the rest of the world were carefully excluded. Here the 2 Englishmen made use of the vulgar artifice of promising extraordinary good fortune to the person whom they purposed to make use.
Okay, okay. He says the 2 Englishmen. D was not in on this. Like Kelly, like they. I've read the transcript of this interview. It's all Kelly. Kelly is like, oh my god, your guardian angel, Ubondalek, is going to make you the king of Poland. And Lasky was like, are you fucking serious? Holy shit.
Dude, no way.
Dude, no way.
Oh, God.
Why
I
do I have a
love
hang on? Why do I have a party hat next to my channel name? It's my affiliate anniversary today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, this is the anniversary of the day that I became a Twitch affiliate. Which thank you all, by the way. I feel neutral about this information. It's not a huge deal, but thank you anyway. I like making fun things for you guys.
Um, I totally turned my phone sideways and lost my spot. So if you've got it, can you please pick up
Oh,
while I
okay, okay.
catch up to where we were?
By the here the 2 Englishmen made use of the vulgar artifice of promising extraordinary good fortune to the person of whom they purported to make use. By the
God, it's such a good sentence.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
fucking funny.
By the
He's like
Go ahead.
he has such a way of saying exactly the most cutting thing so tactfully and
Mm-hmm.
fun. Like,
Here,
go
the
ahead, sir.
2 Englishmen made use of the vulgar artifice of promising extraordinary good fortune to the person of whom they purported to make use. By the intervention of miraculous stone, they told the wandering traveler that he should shortly become king of Poland. With the ascension of several kingdoms, that he should overcome the many armies of the Saracens and the Paynims. Never heard that before.
Mm.
And prove a mighty conqueror. This Polish gnome, they're like, you're gonna be the guy to beat the Saracens, not Charles V. You. D, at the
God.
same time, complained of the disagreeable condition in which he was at home, and that Burleigh and Walsingham were his malicious enemies. Yeah, D had 2 enemies in court named Burleigh and Walsingham. And Edward Kelly was also like, and actually, Burleigh and Walsingham are about to be embarrassed. The angels told me. And Elizabeth likes you a lot, and she's not even a little bit mad that she had to front you the bill for receiving this weirdo Polish gnome. At length, they concocted them. They concerted themselves. Wait. At length, they concerted among themselves that they, Alaski, and Dee and Kelly, with their wives and families, should clandestinely withdraw out of England and proceed with all practicable rapidity to Lasky's territory in the Kingdom of Poland. They embarked on this voyage 21st of September and arrived at Sardinia at the 3rd of February following.
Iradia.
Ceridia, not Sardinia. Oh my god. In Ceridia, the 3rd of February following. Yeah. They were like, oh my god, we can go live with Lasky because he's rich and Polish. He's just as broke as they are. And part of the reason that they wanted to leave is that Dee was losing favor at court. He was like,
They're all
England.
temporarily embarrassed emperors.
Yes, and courtiers. Like fucking during all of this, England was going through a major financial crisis. Like their economy was like collapsing. And they really did not have, and Dee was at court being like, we should build a big as fuck library. And everyone's like, that's nice, Dee, but we all need food. So can you shut up for a little bit? So he was, and also like his reputation, as Dee was kind of coming on board a little bit, he was being weirder at court and was losing a lot of his public reputation. At this,
He's actually the first normal guy. The rest of the court is weird.
Yup. At this place, however, the strangers remained little more than a month. Alaski found his finances in such disorder that it was scarcely possible for him to feed the numerous guests he had brought with him. The promises of splendid conquests which Dee and Kelly profusely heaped upon him were of no avail to supply the deficiency of his present income. Yeah, angels don't pay the bills, turns out. And the elixir they brought from Glastonbury was, as they said, so incredibly rich in virtue that they were compelled to lose much time in making projection by way of trial before they could hope to arrive at the proper temperament for producing the effect they desired. So they're like, fuck, our special powder needs work, and we don't really have time or an incredibly expensive alchemical lab.
Yeah, I think they were hoping that he would just have a lab there.
Mm-hmm. In the following month, Lasky with his visitors passed to Krakow, the residence of the kings of Poland. Here they remained 5 months, Dee and Kelly perpetually amusing the Pole with extraordinary virtue of the stone, which had been brought from heaven by an angel and buried in 1,000 experiments, and busied in 1,000 experiments with the elixir and many tedious preparations which they pronounced to be necessary before the compound could have the proper effect. So, okay, what the thing that is happening here is that Kelly landed a position as being a like an alchemist on retainer for the current king of Poland, who I think was Maximilian II. Don't quote me on that.
It was Rudolph, I think.
Rudolph II. Yeah, that was it. And so he was making like basically contract worker money, learning real alchemy, basically. Like he was basically being like an alchemical assistant. The prophecies were uttered with extreme confidence, but no external indications were to be afforded to shew that they were in any way likely to be realized. The experiments and exertions of the laboratory were incessant, but no transmutation was produced. At length, Lasky found himself unable to sustain the train of followers that he had brought out of England. With mountains of wealth, the treasures of the world promised, they were reduced to the most grievous straits for means of their daily substance. Finally, the zeal of Lasky diminished. He had no longer the same faith in the projectors that had deluded him, and he had devised a way of sending them forward with letters of recommendation to Rudolph II, Emperor of Germany, at his imperial seat in Prague, where they arrived at the 9th of August. Here, do you want to pick?
Maybe it's a different Polish. Okay.
Yeah, it might have been
Rudolph
a different guy. Yeah.
was the man whose character and habits of life they judged excellently adapted to their purpose. Dee had a long conference with the emperor in which he explained to him what wonderful things the spirits promised to this prince, in case he proved exemplary of life and obedient to their suggestions, that he should be the greatest conqueror in the world, same promises, and should take captive the Turk in his city of Constantinople. Rudolf was extremely courteous in his reception, and sent away Dee with the highest hopes that he had at length found a personage in whom he should infallibly succeed to the extent of his wishes. He sought, however, a second interview, and was baffled. At one time the emperor was going to his country palace near Prague, and at another was engaged in the pleasures of the chase. He
Okay,
complained. What is the chase?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think this is true. I think Dee really wanted a conference with Rudolph II. I don't think he got one. I think he wrote that he. I'm not sure if this actually happened.
Or it's like one of those things where like he's on his way out of a building and he's like, here, please look at my manuscript. Like,
Yeah, there might have been something like that. I think he might. There's a sense that he showed up at court, and like we know that he tried to dedicate, he tried to dedicate some texts to Rudolph II. Like I think there's like an edition of Monas Hieroglyphica that was supposedly donated to Rudolph II.
bro, you are literally simping.
Yeah, and I don't think Rudolph II ever really like. I don't think he summoned angels for Rudolph II at all. I don't think he ever knew Rudolph that well. Rudolph did finance some alchemists in his court. Yeah, well, Rudolph was a very like liberal progressive. He
Liberal.
liberal. No. He did finance a lot of alchemists and stuff. He was like a very like because for the time alchemy was like cutting edge science, and so he was very into it. He also supposedly had a gold plated gibbet for hanging false alchemists.
That's so cool.
It's so fucking. I want it to be
need one of
true
those.
so bad. I've heard that claim repeated by several people who I trust. However, none of them have ever shown me a citation for where they received that information. So I don't think that's literally true. I want it to be true so bad. That's so cool.
He also complained that he was not sufficiently familiar with the Latin tongue to manage the conferences with Dee in a satisfactory manner in person. He therefore deputed Curtius, a man high in his confidence, to enter into the necessary details with his learned visitor. Dee also contrived to have Spinola, an ambassador from Madrid to the court of the emperor, to urge his suit. The final result was that Rudolph declined any further intercourse with Dee. He turned a deaf ear to his prophecies, and professed to be altogether void of faith as to his promises respecting the philosopher's stone. Dee, however, was led on perpetually with hopes of better things from the emperor, till the spring of the year 1585. At length he was obliged to fly from Prague. The Bishop of Placentia, the Pope's nuncio, having it in command from his holiness to represent to Rudolph how discreditable it was for him to harbor English magicians, heretics, at his court.
Yes, the Pope did not like Rudolph II. But also it's like the Protestant Reformation is happening, and so the church is losing a lot of social power at the point. So the church is like, hey, you shouldn't have magicians and heretics at court. And Rudolph II is like, do something about it. Please continue.
From Prague, Dee and his followers proceeded to Krakow. Here he found means of introduction to Stephen, King of Poland. Okay, it was Stephen.
That is
To whom
King
he
Stephen Bathory, by the way.
Of the band Bathory?
No, as in Elizabeth Bathory, the famous serial killer woman. Same family.
As in the band Bathory?
Sure.
Sorry, okay. Bathory's pretty good.
Fucking Stephen, King of Poland, to whom immediately he insinuated as intelligence from heaven that Rudolph, the emperor, would speedily be assassinated, and that Stephen would succeed him in the throne of Germany.
I 1,000% believe that he said that to Rudolph.
This is the funniest. Well, he said it to Stephen.
It's to Steven, yeah, about
Yeah.
Rudolph.
God, these are the best guys ever.
They're so fucking funny. My lord, my liege, you will never believe what an angel just told us.
He told us that that guy that kicked us out is totally gonna get assassinated, and that you are gonna be the king. Oh,
No shit,
God,
bro.
it's so good. Fuck. All right, Stephen would succeed him in the throne of Germany. Stephen appears to have received Dee with more condescension than Rudolph had done, and was once present at his incantation and interview with the invisible spirits. Dee also lured him on with promises respecting the Philosopher's Stone. Meanwhile, the magician was himself reduced to the strangest expedients for subsistence. He appears to have daily expected great riches from the transmutation of metals, and was unwilling to confess that he and his family were, in the meantime, almost starving. When King Stephen at length became wearied with fruitless expectation, Dee was fortunate enough to meet another and more patient dupe in Rosenberg, a nobleman of considerable wealth at Trebona, in the kingdom of Bohemia. Here Dee appears to have remained until 1589, when he was sent home by Elizabeth. In what manner he proceeded during this interval, and from whence he drew his supplies, we are only left to conjecture. He lured on his victim with the usual temptation, promising him that he should be the king of Poland. In the meantime, it is recorded by him that on the 9th of December, 1586, he arrived at the point of projection, having cut a piece of metal out of a brass warming pan, and merely heating it by fire, and pouring it on a portion of the elixir, it was presently converted into pure silver. We are told that he sent the warming pan and piece of silver to Queen Elizabeth, that she might be convinced by her own eyes how exactly they tallied, and that the one had unquestionably been a portion of the other. About the same time, it is said that Dee and his associate became more free in their expenditure. In one instance, it is stated as an example that Kelly gave away to the value of £4,000 sterling in gold rings, on occasion of the celebration of the marriage of one of his maidservants. On the 27th and 30th of July, 1587, Dee had recorded in his journal his gratitude to God for his unspeakable mercies on those days imparted, which has been interpreted to mean further acquisitions of wealth by means of the elixir. Meanwhile, perpetual occasions of dissension occurred between the two great confederates, Kelly and Dee. They were, in many respects,
part of why they're mad at each other at this period is that D is now, or Kelly is now an actual alchemist. Like he's learned enough alchemy that he can actually make money doing it, and has a degree of financial independence from D.
That's there. Kelly is Dee's trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dee's mad that he has a job now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They were in many respects unfitted for each other's society. Dee was a man who from his youth upward had been indefatigable in study and research, had the consciousness of great talents and intellect. Wait, and he gets to be an alchemist? This chicanery?
This chicanery? He desecrated a church!
Fucking Kelly gets his ears cut off for defecating through a sunroof.
It's so awesome. He has no ears!
I just rotated my phone sideways. Uh,
Okay. I'll continue reading.
I'm
We'll
so
get.
sorry. This just keeps
It's
happening.
okay. It's okay.
It takes me all the way up to the Persians
Oh my
every time
god.
that happens.
Uh, we're gonna wrap up stream here soon, but I'll finish this paragraph.
Oh, I don't think we're that far from the end of the D and Kelly. Oh no, it's actually long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite long. Yeah,
Uh,
they were in many. They had been universally recognized as such, and possessed a high character for fervent piety and blameless morals. Kelly was an impudent adventurer, a man of no principles and of blasted reputation, yet fertile in resources, full of self-confidence, and of no small degree of ingenuity. In their mutual intercourse, the audacious adventurer often had the upper hand of the man who had lately possessed a well-earned reputation. Kelly frequently professed himself tired of enacting the character of interpreter of the gods under D. He found D in all cases running away with the superior consideration, while he, in his own opinion, best deserved to possess it. The straightness of their circumstances and the misery they were occasionally called on to endure, we may be sure did not improve their good understanding. Kelly once again threatened to abandon his leader. D continually soothed him and prevailed on him to say. Kelly at length stated a very extraordinary position. Kelly, as interpreter to the spirits, and being the only person who heard and or saw anything, we may presume made them say whatever he pleased. Kelly and Dee had both of them wives. Kelly did not always live harmoniously with the partner of his bed. He sometimes went so far as to say that he hated her. Dee was more fortunate. His wife was a person of good family and had hitherto been irreproachable in her demeanor. The spirits one day revealed to Kelly that they must henceforth have the wives in common. The wife of Kelly was barren, and this curse could not otherwise be removed. Having started at this proposition, Kelly played the reluctant party. Dee, who was pious and enthusiastic, inclined to submit. He first indeed started the notion that it could only be meant that they should live in mutual harmony and good understanding. The spirits protested against this and insisted upon the literal interpretation. Dee yielded and compared his case to that of Abraham, who, at the divine command, consented to sacrifice his son Isaac. Kelly alleged that the spirits, which Dee had hitherto regarded as messengers from God, could be no other than servants of Satan. He persisted in his disobedience, and the spirits declared that he was no longer worthy to be their interpreter, and that another mediator must be found. They named Arthur D., the son of the possessor of the stone, a promising and well-disposed boy of only 8 years of age.
what? I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
So after the wife swapping thing, they have an 8-year-old boy become the scryer.
Yes, Dee's 8-year-old son becomes the scryer.
This is so funny. This is the best show in the world.
Almost exactly 9 months later, Dee's wife gives birth to another son, who they named Trebonius D. Who is almost definitely not John Dee's son.
This is the best show ever.
It's so good.
I fucked Ted Beneke.
Kelly took horse and rode away, protesting that they should meet no more. Arthur entered upon his office in April 15th, 1587. The experiment proved abortive. He saw something, but not to the purpose. He heard no voices. At length, Kelly, on the third day, entered the room unexpectedly by miraculous fortune, as Dee says, or divine fate, sat down between them, and immediately saw figures and heard voices. He couldn't stay away. He couldn't fucking stay away.
They're boyfriends.
Oh my god, it's so awesome. which the little Arthur was not enabled to perceive. In particular, he saw 4 heads enclosed in an obelisk, which he perceived to represent 2 magicians and their wives, and interpreted to signify
God.
that the unlimited communion which they were destined to engage. The matter, however, still being an occasion of scruple, a spirit appeared, who by the language he used was plainly no other than the Savior of the world, and took away from them the larger stone. For now it appears that there were 2 stones. The miracle at length concluded all parties to submit, and the divine command was no sooner obeyed than the stone had been abstracted, was found again under the pillow of the wife of D. I want to keep going.
So this is clearly Kelly's doing. This is so
Yes,
good.
it's so awesome. It is not easy to imagine a state of greater degradation than that into which this person had now fallen. During all the prime and vigor of his intellect, he had sustained an eminent part among the learned and the great, distinguished and honored by Elizabeth as her favorite. But his unbounded arrogance and self-opinion could never be satisfied, and seduced, partly by his own weakness, and partly by the insinuations of a crafty adventurer, he became a mystic of the most dishonorable sort. He had induced to believe in a series of miraculous communications without common sense, engaged in the pursuit of the philosopher's stone, and no doubt imagined that he was possessed of a great secret. Stirred up by these conceptions, and left his native country, became a wanderer, preying upon the credulity of one prince and eminent man after another, and no sooner was he discarded by one victim of credulity than he sought after another, a vagabond of the earth, and reduced from time to time to the greatest of distress, persecuted, dishonored, and despised by every party in their turn. At length, by incessant degrees, he became dead to all moral distinctions and all sense of honor and self-respect. Quote, professing himself to be wise, he became a fool, walked in the vanity of his imagination, and that his understanding under total eclipse. The immortal
They
system
hate to see a toonie succeed.
Truly, the immortal system of conduct in which he was engaged, the strange and shocking blasphemy that he mixed with it, render him at this time a sort of character that is painful to contemplate. Wow.
I love the way Godwin writes all of this. It really is like one of the best summaries of D I've ever read.
Yeah,
actually.
this is genuinely great. Yeah. Led on as D by this time by the ascendancy of the consummate art of Kelly, there was far from existing any genuine harmony between them, and after many squabbles and heartburnings, they appear to have finally parted in July of 1589, Dee having, according to his own account, at that time delivered to Kelly the elixir and the different implements by which transmutations of metals were to be effected. Like, Dee basically bought him alchemical equipment, and he left.
Should we keep going?
I think we should wrap up here, honestly. Like, a lot of...
Yeah.
We got to the climax. We got to the fucking...
We got to the wife swapping.
Yeah, we got to the wife swapping. I am surprised he did not mention Babylon, Mother of Demons, because that's what happened immediately after that. Was he met Babylon the Great.
That's such a good bit too.
Oh man! All right, everyone. That's been our 2 hours. My throat hurts. I really want to revisit this text. I really want to do more of this. I think this is a great shape for Philosophy Friday. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you all for subscribing. I will see you all next week. Bye.
On ethical non-monogamy with alchemists.
Farewell.